Okay, so you're thinking about Nepal. Huh. Starting a construction business there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, lots of potential.
There is, tons. And we've got some seriously interesting stuff here to help figure out how to make it work, how to make it successful.
Uh-huh.
We're going to be looking at two sources, two really interesting sources about the construction industry in Nepal. And we're just going to go through them, see what jumps out at us, see what's helpful. What do you think?
That's good.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, so right off the bat, these sources are talking about a booming construction industry,
Hmm.
like Nepal's construction industry, not just like growing a little bit, but like really taking off.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense with all
Yeah.
the urbanization and infrastructure development. Plus, the government's got all these projects going on, like roads and hydropower.
Rebuilding after the earthquakes, right?
Oh, yeah, that too. That's a huge factor. I mean, it's a tough situation, but it creates a lot of need for construction.
Yeah, that's definitely a big demand driver, right?
Mm.
And that 10% annual growth rate, that's not nothing.
No, not at all.
That's a big deal.
It's a sign of a healthy economy. So that's a good sign for anyone looking to get into the market.
I mean, it sounds like opportunity is just like exploding everywhere,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But I feel like with so much going on, you got to find the right lane for your business, right? Like, what are you going to actually build? What kind of construction are you going to focus on?
Exactly. That's where niching down becomes so important.
Niching down, yeah.
Yeah. Are you going to go residential or
Mhm.
commercial, industrial?
Right, right.
And then even within those, there's more specialization.
Oh, yeah. So, like, what, just in residential alone, are we talking like apartment buildings,
Mm.
houses? Like, what comes to mind?
Well, think about Kathmandu, for example.
Okay.
Tons of young professionals moving in, right?
Right.
All looking for modern housing. That's a huge market.
So if you're listening to this right now, think about that for a second. Like, if you were starting a construction business in Nepal today, what niche would you pick and why?
That's a really good question for anybody to be asking themselves.
Right. Big decisions.
Big decisions, yeah. But even before you start thinking about like pouring concrete and all that, there's the legal stuff to take care of. Got to make sure everything's legit.
Oh, yeah. The boring but important stuff.
Yeah. It's not the most exciting part, but it's essential.
So the sources mention a few things like company registration, getting the right construction licenses, and of course, dealing with taxes.
Tax is always fun.
Nobody's favorite, but it's got to be done. So is there anything like specific to Nepal our listeners should keep in mind? Like any little quirks in the system or things that are different from other places?
Well, one thing that stands out is that the company registration process has gotten a lot smoother in recent years. You can even do a lot of it online now through the office of the company registrar.
Oh, wow. That's pretty convenient.
Yeah, it is. And as for the construction licenses, those are there to make sure everyone's following safety and quality standards, which honestly, that's a good thing.
Oh, yeah,
It protects you as a business owner and it protects your clients. It builds trust.
definitely. So it's not just about jumping through hoops.
No, not at all. It's about establishing credibility.
Right, right. Okay, so you've got your company set up, you're all legal and everything. Now you actually have to, build something.
Right.
And you can't do that without people. So how do you find good architects, engineers, project managers,
Hmm.
and then what about the actual construction workers, the laborers and contractors?
That's a great point. The team is everything. I mean, in Nepal, skilled labor is crucial, and finding and keeping those skilled workers, that's a challenge. But there's some really good talent coming out of places like Pulchok Engineering Campus and the Institute of Engineering.
Oh, wow, those are like top tier.
Yeah,
Right?
that top notch.
Okay, so you've got these great schools, you've got skilled workers coming out. Are there any, I don't know, like specific skills or certifications that are really important to have in Nepal?
Well, one thing that's super important right now is training in earthquake-resistant construction techniques. I mean, after the earthquakes, that became a top priority, so anyone with expertise in that area is in high demand.
Yeah, makes sense. Stay ahead of the curve.
Right. Always be learning, always be adapting.
So can you give us an example, like a project where having a really skilled team made all the difference?
Oh, I've got a good one. After the earthquake, I was involved in a school reconstruction project in a pretty remote village. I mean, the terrain was challenging, resources were limited, but our team was amazing. We had these incredible engineers who came up with these really innovative designs
Cool.
using local materials too, which was really important for sustainability and cost effectiveness. And then our project managers, they were just rock stars, kept everything moving, even with all these unexpected delays because of weather and stuff.
Right, you got to be flexible in those situations.
Oh, absolutely. And The local laborers, I can't say enough about them. They had this incredible knowledge of traditional building techniques, which was so valuable.
I bet. Combining the new with the old, right?
Exactly. It was a real testament to the power of teamwork and having people with diverse skills and experience.
That's a great story. Okay, so we've got the team. We know what we're building. But how do we pay for all this? I mean, construction's not cheap. You need equipment, materials, you got to pay your team. What are the options for our listeners who are trying to get this business off the ground?
So there are a few ways to go about it. Bank loans are always an option. But, and this is important, you need a really solid business plan.
Makes sense.
The banks want to see that you thought things through, that you have a plan to succeed.
Right. So it's not just about how much money you need. It's about showing them you know what you're doing.
Exactly. Then there are government grants. The government's actually really supportive of entrepreneurship in the construction sector. They have some programs specifically aimed at promoting sustainable and innovative building practices.
Wow, so there's actually some government support out there.
Yeah, there are some good opportunities. You just got to do your research and find the right programs. And then, of course, there's always the option of partnering with investors.
Investors.
Yeah, a lot of people are interested in investing in Nepal right now, especially in sectors like construction that have so much growth potential.
So it sounds like you've got a lot of options, but no matter what, that business plan is key.
Absolutely. It's your roadmap to success.
Right. Okay, so let's say you've got the funding figured out. You've got your team. You're ready to build. How do you actually get clients? How do you make sure people know about your amazing construction company?
It's all about building a brand, right?
Okay, branding. Yeah.
And a big part of that is your portfolio. Showcasing your work, showing off those completed projects, it's like proof that you can deliver.
Yeah, your track record.
Exactly. And luckily, in today's world, it's easier than ever to get your work out there. You've got social media, you can build your own website.
Right, all the online stuff.
All that. But don't underestimate the power of good old-fashioned word of mouth. Referrals are gold in this industry. It's all about relationships and building trust.
So how do you, I don't know, how do you build that network? How do you get those referrals?
Networking. Go to industry events. There's one called the Nepal BuildCon Expo. That's a big one.
Okay.
Join industry associations like the Federation of Contractors Associations of Nepal or FCN. And don't be afraid to reach out to real estate developers. They're always looking for reliable construction partners. I mean, I once landed a major project just by chatting with a developer at a conference.
Wow, that's awesome. Just goes to show you, you never know where those connections might lead. So to wrap things up here, I think we've covered a lot of ground. We talked about the amazing growth in Nepal's construction industry.
It's pretty incredible, yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff. We talked about niching down, finding the right lane for your business, the importance of making sure you're legally compliant, getting all those permits and licenses, building a skilled team, finding those rock star architects, engineers, and construction workers. And then, of course, how to get the funding you need and then actually get clients once you're up and running.
That about covers it. It's a lot to take in, but it's all essential for success.
It is. It is a lot. So for you listening, what's the biggest thing that stood out to you? What are you going to take away from this?
For me, it's the balance between the huge opportunity and the very real challenges in Nepal's construction industry.
That's a good point.
Like the potential's there, it's enormous.
Totally.
But to really succeed, you need more than just ambition. You need like a deep understanding of how things work in Nepal.
You got to know the lay of the land, right?
Exactly. And a commitment to ethical practices, to doing things the right way, and a willingness to embrace innovation, to be open to new ideas and new ways of doing things.
I love that. Innovation. Okay, so here's one final thought for you as you continue on this journey.
Yeah.
What innovative approach could you bring to your business? What would make you stand out in Nepal's competitive construction landscape? Think about that, explore those ideas, and good luck out there.
Yeah, good luck.